Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're going to be going over a 2022 Jeep Compass Red Edition. So if you guys remember, I reviewed a Ram 1500 Limited Red Edition just like a couple of weeks ago, and so this is the Compass version of that Red Edition. So they're basically doing this Red Edition with several different vehicles within the Dodge, Ram, Jeep, and Chrysler lineup. But anyways, a huge shout out and thank you to Kunani for filming and taking the photos of this Compass. So this is not a video that I filmed, this was her filming it, and then I'm just gonna be voicing over the video. So link to her Instagram in the description down below. I really appreciate it. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into the review. So let's start things off by talking about the powertrain here on this Compass Red Edition. So we have a naturally aspirated 2.4 liter four-cylinder that goes through a 9-speed automatic transmission. It's good for 177 horsepower and then 172 pound-feet of torque. And in terms of what the Red Edition package is all about, some of you guys might be like, what is this? If you remember, I reviewed a Ram 1500 Limited Red Edition that Kunani filmed as well, and that had just a couple red decals on the interior and exterior. So the main thing about this package is it's supposed to support the charity that is in the name, and so basically the profit that's going to be made off of these vehicles is going to go towards supporting the charity, and then you can buy other items with the vehicles like hoodies and stuff like that to also support the charity. And that's why they didn't do a ton of changes to these vehicles with this package, is it's more just about like basically buying a vehicle and supporting a good cause, and you have like a little decal that basically shows that you bought the vehicle that supports that cause. Hopefully that makes sense. But you can see with this Compass, it's finished in red, right? So it's right, the big thing. But notice here on the back, you've got like an old school Jeep and it says red next to it. That's one of the ways to tell that this is a Red Edition Compass versus a regular Jeep Compass. And the new Jeep Compass, I think looks so good from an aesthetic perspective. I guess just talking about the vehicle in general. They've just basically taken the Grand Cherokee styling and shrunk it down, kind of modernized it as well. Now, I'm talking about the old Grand Cherokee, not the new one. And that's kind of what the Compass is. So it's just like it's a little mini Grand Cherokee, basically, from a stylistic perspective. And then popping into the interior, you can see that you get a loaded up interior with the Compass Red Edition. So you get the nicer seats, which you can see here have the perforations on them. And they didn't add any really like crazy accents here to the interior. So you can see like the stitching's darker and all that. It's not red. That would be cool if they did red stitching throughout that, you know, just to really emphasize this is the red package, even though the Compass is bright red on the exterior. And then you can see the stitching here with the center console. And then also notice we got the vents there for the rear passengers that you can open and close. And then you got the USB just down below. And then here on the door panel again with the stitching and padding, which, you know, super functional. But notice with the Compass, you get tons of plastic all throughout. It's kind of supposed to be more of like a, you know, price-conscious economic car rather than a full-blown luxury car that's going to have all the nicest bells and whistles, right? Got your window controls right there. And then I love the look of the door handles in the Compass. I've always thought that those are really cool. And tons of storage space there. Notice you've got padding and stitching here on the dash and on the top of the dash as well. So it definitely lends to that kind of like luxury appearance because of that. And you guys can see here at the top how it's like pretty much all soft touch there, which again is another big benefit. And then here's a gauge cluster. You got analog gauges on either side of the screen there in the center. That seems like something that they're just doing across the board with most of Stellantis's products, including the Jeep brand. And you can see here at the steering wheel itself, you've got adaptive cruise control. So it also comes with a bunch of safety tech, which is another big plus. And I love the Jeep logo in the center of the steering wheel. I love how that's like stylized. I think that looks really good, actually, from an aesthetic perspective. And notice how like big the steering wheel is too. So you can get a really good grip on it. Definitely a nice look. And then here's the front seat. So you can see it says Jeep on it. And again, you've got the perforated material there in the center. Looks great from an aesthetic perspective. Then obviously it's functional as well. And then you can see the infotainment system here. Not too crazy. Climate controls down below. And look at like the finish on the controls. Definitely looks nicer than Jeeps in the past. And then you can manually shift with that 9-speed automatic. Notice you have the 4-wheel drive lock. if you don't want it to, if you want it to be kind of more even with the system rather than sending more power to the front wheels. And then you can see here on the dash again with the padding and then the trim, looks really good. And on the side with the door handle, blacked out trim. Overall, I think the interior is really nice on the new Compass, especially considering the price point, right? It's a $30-something thousand SUV, depending on exactly how you equip it with four-wheel drive. And so it's just, they've come a long way, in my personal opinion. But I want you guys to let me know what you think about this red package. Here's kind of like one more view of the interior. If this is something that you'd be interested in getting, or if you think they need to do a little bit more to kind of spruce it up, like should they have more red accenting throughout the interior to like really, emphasize the point that this is a special package, or do you feel like they've done enough on this particular package? But yeah, that's everything for the Compass Red Edition. So getting up and moving, I'm in the S mode and in the manual mode as well. Also, Bentayga with the ski box. You go. This is interesting. So again, this is a dual clutch. I just drove an MDX Type S before this, and I think that transmission's more responsive than this 8-speed dual clutch. So when you're like full throttle, this definitely, you feel the benefits of the dual clutch, but for like most of the shifting, I mean, this is good. But yeah, I think that new 10-speed takes it. That is interesting. So yeah, I guess we'll kind of start to get into signing things up here with the ILX. And sorry if I call it TLX anytime in the review. For some reason, my brain just like doesn't... I understand there's only one letter difference, but usually I'm pretty good about that stuff. But today, for some reason, can't seem to figure it out. Exterior-wise, it looks good. It's not my favorite with Acura. I prefer the TLX styling. The new Integra, it'll be interesting to see what that looks like in person. But I still think this is a really good looking car. I mean, you put it next to most cars and I would say it looks better, especially considering the price point. And then from a driving characteristic perspective, it does the luxury car stuff. Now, it doesn't have like a monstrous powertrain like what you can get with the new TLX Type S, right? That's got that 3-liter twin-turbo V6. This is 200 horsepower, but I mean, it makes use of the power very well. Like, it doesn't feel slow to me. Seriously, I thought it would. Like, when I read the power figures, I was like, oh, 200 horsepower, this is not going to feel that great. But it actually, it makes very good use of the power. And the only thing that I guess is a downside of this car, I'm trying to think, is just the fact that there's like newer Acuras, and so like I can see the differences. Like, this is a really good car.